You are now tuned in to the 2-Minute Warning, a live stream community conversation pertaining to social and political issues and how we can collectively resolve them. Powered by the Westside Gazette.
Good evening and welcome to the 2-Minute Warning. My name is David Wright and I will be briefly filling in for our dear brother Perry Busby. But welcome to the 2-Minute Warning, the oldest, sponsored by the oldest, boldest, blackest newspaper, family-owned newspaper in Broward County, the Westside Gazette. And with us tonight is the author, the publisher, the chief, and all the above of that newspaper, Mr. Bobby R. Henry Sr.
Well. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. We got a very young audience, not audience, so what would we call it? Panel. A young panel. We didn't get an opportunity to explain the procedures for us to bring them on. So while they are listening, we'll bring them on after we have our few minutes of conversation about what's happening, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So how you feeling, my brother?
And I am terrific and getting better.
Yeah, we missed you last week.
Yeah, I understand y'all had one heck of a show, man, and I apologize for missing that, but I had to take care of some business, and it went well, I must add.
Well, that's great. But speaking of that show, we want to invite all of our viewers to go back and revisit the show of last week, dealing with DEI, data-driven DEI. Very fascinating show. We talked about some local issues as well, a lot of current events, but data-driven DEI. If you didn't get a chance to review that, Dr. Randall Pinkett really dropped some nuggets on us. Brother Brandon Freeney was on filling in for you. It was just a great opportunity to hear about where we're heading in our future. And so we're going to continue to talk about that future because we got our young people on today. But before we go into that, man, there's a lot of stuff going on, man.
There is a lot of stuff. If I could just interject just one thing in particular. If you get a chance to pick up a copy of the Westside Gazette this week, it's some very interesting stuff. And I found some interesting stuff as it pertains to the back page. There was one article in particular that really struck me about this brother who was incarcerated for about 16 years. And while he was incarcerated, he changed over to Judaism, Orthodox Judaism. And it's a brother. And he has a very interesting story. So pick a copy of the paper up and read about him and see his travels, his what do you call it? Not transformation, but his journey. I think it's real. It's something to read.
And y'all give us some feedback on that because we're thinking about bringing the brother on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
So, y'all give us the feedback. Yes.
What about that 21-year-old pilot, man, that brother from Georgia? He earned his third college degree.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Well, you put us in the right position. We'll make it happen.
Knock it out the park.
Knock it right out the park.
Knock it out the park.
Yeah. There were some weather issues going on in Texas, and I pray for those in Texas, over the Panhandle section of Texas. They're being faced with some devastating fires, and we remember the same thing happened not too long ago in Hawaii. So something similar, but this is taking a path all its own, and we're just in prayer for those people out there that's being impacted by the fire.
That's real interesting. I guess, here in South Florida, we're accustomed to, nice weather. And so when you mention snow and fire in the same sentence, it's almost like an oxymoron. But what's happening out there in Texas is they're having these fires and snow is on the ground, and folk don't believe in climate warming. Is that, what's the term?
That climate change.
Climate change, yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could call that what, fire and ice?
Oh, wow. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
That's deep.
It's a reality. It's a reality.
And here in Broward County, we just had one of our historical festivals, the Sistrunk Festival. And believe it or not, one of the gentlemen who started this festival was in it for the first time. He was the first Black city manager in Fort Lauderdale. So, and you can read about that story too in the West Side Gazette. But just to give you a short synopsis of what transpired, Mr. Hill, again, like I said, he was the first Black city manager. And so while Mr. Hill was doing his duties as a city manager, they wanted to celebrate, if you will, the accomplishments of something right on Sistrunk, the building of the what was that building called? The library, the Sistrunk Library.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that they just constructed that building on Sistrunk on the grounds of Providence Hospital, and so Mr. Hill was instrumental in making that happen. So they wanted to celebrate the construction of that library. And so Mr. Hill said, well, we can do this, but let me get some people to help me. So he called in the community, and there were people who came to assist. Mr. Greenleaf was one of them. I'm not going to tell the whole article. You got to read it.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was Mr. Levi Henry was another. And what happened was they turned the celebration of the completion of that building into what has become known as the Sistrunk Festival.
That's right.
Yeah, and at one time, the festival was one of the largest, if not the largest, Black festival in the country. Yeah, that's a bit of history, bit of Black history, as we close out Black History Month.
I think it's important that we share that we regurgitate it, repeat it. So that's how our history is passed on. I was having a conversation with my aunt, who's the historian of the family. And she basically said the same thing to me. We have to continue to repeat those stories, tell those stories. That's how our ancestors passed it on from us to us. And as I shared with you some months ago about the Dogon tribe, I'm going to bring this up again, that we are 5 generations away from things that were done that helped create this generation that we're living in right now. And we are producing what's going to manifest 5 generations down from us. Our mannerisms, our culture, our activities when it comes to civic and social activities. So I'm really excited as we talk with our young folks. We're going to bring Mr. Nooney on, but we have an opportunity to help mold generations to come. And I think we should be real mindful of that.
Yeah. And let's say hello to our viewing audience. We got a list of people who are joining us, and thank you so very much. I see Sonia, Melvin, Tawana, Shawana, Miss Lumpkins, as thank you, Miss Lumpkins, for being a faithful viewer, as well as Miss Flowers and Miss Meredith McCleary.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so very much. I see Aaron Whitfield, and again, Miss Betty Lumpkins. Let me say something about Aaron and what he's doing. Trying to raise funds for lupus. You know, that's another disease that seems to be crippling us as a people. And Mr. Whitfield, I wish he can put his information in the chat so we can have an opportunity to try to assist him in that manner. Okay.
All right. We also see Miss Terry Dillon.
Hey.
Yeah, and it's Rosie. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So without any further ado, we have a gentleman that's no stranger.
Right. We're trying to find a name for him.
But he's our sports analyst.
Yes.
And right now, until we get a name for his segment, Mr. Nooney Robinson, our sports analyst. How are you feeling this evening, Mr. Robinson?
I'm outstanding. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Quite well.
Awesome. Because when Bobby called, you called me and we thought we could eliminate the call. It didn't work. And so I had to go back through the process again. But I'm doing fine. And good evening, everyone. And I'm so excited that you talked about Aaron, and because I've known Aaron for a long time. As a matter of fact, I coached him at South Plantation High School back in the day. We're talking about it in the 80s. But he's an outstanding young man, and we want to help him with that lupus situation. That's important. But anyway, in terms of sports, since football season has ended, the focus has really been basketball, not only the NBA, but also college basketball. So I just want to speak briefly about what's been going on the last couple of days. May I make mention of the Miami Hurricanes basketball team who was in the finals last year? They right now are not doing so well. They're on a 5-game losing streak, and they've also lost their best player, probably a guard, whose last name is Pack. I can't think of his first name right now, but it appears that the only way that they're going to get in the tournament is by winning the ACC tournament. So they're not having a very good season. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I talked about that in my column, was court storming. You all know what court storming is. It's after you have a major victory in basketball or even football, even on the baseball field. The home team usually runs on the court, and it becomes a really egregious, scary situation. And it happened when Duke played Wake Forest, and Wake Forest won the game at Wake Forest, and the fans rushed on the field, and their star player, a kid named Kyle Filipowski, was injured, not severely, but injured. And coaches started complaining about that, and they wanted to know when they were going to stop the court storming from occurring. And my only point was that I think if they wanted to stop it, they could have done it a long time ago. They're not sure how to stop it, or even if they want to, because one high school kid was paralyzed in that situation and nothing happened. It's kind of like mass shooting. You know, we can stop mass shooting if we do everything we're supposed to do in terms of background checks and that kind of thing. We know what we want to do, but the question is, do we have the moral fortitude to get it done? I just drew that parallel. It's really a tough situation. LeBron James and what he has accomplished recently. Last night's game against the rival Los Angeles Clippers, the Clippers were leading 21 points in the fourth quarter. And do you know that LeBron actually brought that team back and won the game by about 4 points? He was outstanding from the 3-point range and assisting. He's 39 years old. He's playing now for 21 years, and he's playing at that level. It is phenomenal. And do you know that if he scores the next 40 points that he scores, for him, it will be 40,000 points in his career. Isn't that amazing?
That's truly amazing.
Yeah. And it appears that he is going to play at least 2 or 3 more years, you know. At 39, he could probably play until he's 42, 43, you know. So
and they want to talk about age. And
I just want to meet. I'm sorry, you had a question.
Well, I was just going to say that's King James, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the King James version of basketball right there.
Yeah, he is absolutely phenomenal. Have you heard of this young lady named Caitlin Clark? University of Iowa. She just set the record for female scorers in the NCAA. She has scored over 3,650 points in her career. Her career will end this year because she has declared for the NBA. But here's the capsule. When she scores 18 more points, she will have scored more points than anybody in the history of college basketball, male or female. Wow. So in other words, she has a chance, and she will do that this year very soon, probably in the next game, beat the record set by Pete Maravich from LSU back in the day.
Pistol Pete Maravich.
And here we are dilly-dallying over name for Professor Robinson. That's good. That's good, Amy.
All righty. And just quickly with the Heat are doing fine. They've got a really good coach. They've got good players. In spite of injuries, they've won like 8 games out of the last 10. And they're going to be one of the teams in the probably the top 10 teams in the vying for the NBA championship. We missed Max Strus. He just made a 3-point shot to win a game against. He plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers now. He's an outstanding shooter, but he left through free agency, but he was an outstanding young man. That's all I have for you tonight, young brothers. But it's been fun. I hope you have a great show, and I'll be watching. Can I add one more thing? Then I'll let you go. I was watching Joy Reid on MSNBC, and I saw these Republicans grilling our brother,
Austin.
Austin. And it's just really sad. They're grilling him because he didn't disclose his illness, I guess, as he should have, and he's admitted that he probably did not do it right. While they're grilling him about that, they're supporting an insurrectionist rapist who's on the border with the Texas governor, Greg Abbott. It's just so ironic and so cruel what they're doing. So I hope that people understand how important this vote is. I'm sorry, I had to get off on that tangent, but that's it.
That's quite all right. And I see we and Noonie, Miss McCleary says hello. And we got a brother viewing us tonight from Ghana, Richard Moore, from FAMU, a rattler and a true Omega man, all the way from Ghana.
Awesome,
So,
my brother.
What's up, Rick Mo?
All right.
Yeah.
That makes this an international show.
It's an international show, man.
International show.
Okay. All right. See, Aaron just put up his if we can bring that on the screen, from Aaron Whitfield and the Lupus. Okay. If we can, if you can take this information down, and whatever you can give is greatly appreciated. Again, this disease of lupus, like when we get it, it almost okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrible thing. But again, thank you so much, Brother Noonie Robinson, our analyst, our sports analyst, historian, and statistician.
Thank you, my brothers. God bless. Have a great night. I'll be here.
Okay, right. Very good. All right. So let's bring on the stars of the show.
Yes, the theme of tonight's show again is young, gifted, and black. A look into our future.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we're going to do today. So I'm going to let you start it off, my brother.
Okay. And this is an honor for me, to have an opportunity to introduce my granddaughter, Miss Brielle Denise Henry. Miss Brielle is a freshman at South Plantation High School. She's extremely active. She's a true thespian. As long as I can remember, from Red Schoolhouse with Miss Gwen, she has been involved in some form of theatrics. So she has a 4.3 grade point average. She did participate in the swimming program. So between all of that, she has an upcoming production.
Wow.
Where as a freshman, she has a leading role in this production. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our up-and-coming star, Miss Brielle Denise Henry. Good evening, Miss Brielle.
Good evening. How are you?
Oh, we're fine. And how are you?
Good evening, Brielle.
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. I don't know where to start.
Okay.
Well, tell us a little more about that thespian career. It seems like you're really excited about that.
Well, I just got casted as the lead role in our new musical called Seussical, and I'm really excited because my school is kind of like predominantly white kids, so I'm glad that I could be a person of color leading in my play, and meeting people and building new friendships in drama, because I want to continue drama for as long as I can.
That's awesome.
That's great. It's one thing that not only are you acting, but there's some other qualities that you have to exhibit. So tell us a little bit about that extra thing you have to do.
Well, like, you mean by like
when you speak, when you sign and speak?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So all of our plays are in ASL, which is American Sign Language, and we have to learn sign from our head. I think it's like our head ASL person, and most of these people who learn the ASL and teach us are students. So I think it's cool that we get to create shows be inclusive with our shows.
All right.
Mhm.
So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and bring everybody on one at a time. So our next guest or our next youth is from my alma mater. He's a Boyd Anderson Cobra by the name of Mr. Joshua Williams. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Joshua. Currently, he has over 30 high school credits, 25 college credits among 3 colleges. He's involved with baseball, color guard, and he ushers at his church. His programs are involved with health and wellness as well as ELMA. He's dual enrolled at Broward College, Florida International University, and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Now, I think I've said enough right there, but we're going to let Mr. Williams do the rest. Mr. Joshua Williams, can you please join us tonight?
Hello. Hi.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Good. Now, what year are you in high school?
I'm a senior.
Senior. Awesome. So you want to tell us a little more about that? Did I get everything right? Other than all those grade point averages, did you want to share those?
Yes. But firstly, I would like to thank you all for inviting me here. This is a huge opportunity, and I'm very grateful to have this. But so where should I start? So my grade point average now is a 4.9, like you said. But I wouldn't say that it came easy. It's a lot of hard work and dedication. Sometimes you would feel like giving up, but I just have to keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
But also with the programs that I am involved in, health and wellness and ELMA, which is one of the best Broward County magnet programs. And also baseball, have a great team, and I'm very glad to be on the team. And ushering at my church, that's also something that I do.
Okay.
Which I'm grateful to have.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, we're gonna get into some conversation. We're gonna bring on our next guest, and this young lady. Now I know we equate natural abilities a lot of times with physical prowess, but I can actually say that this young lady, I believe she was born with a computer next to her, right? She is an excellent writer. She has joined our staff of youth writers as a reporter. Miss Jacy Nails. Miss Nails is a junior at Dillard High School. She's involved in several activities. Those activities are, just when you need the computer to work right. Okay, she's the treasurer of the National Honor Society and the president of the Dillard Commercial Music Group. Jacy, I didn't know you were involved with music. During her free time, she enjoys writing about topics that she is passionate about. She loves God and her family, her friends, and her dog. Is that Paisley? So let's bring on Miss Jacy Nails. Hello, Jacy.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, very well. So tell us a little bit more about you.
Okay, well, like you said, I attend Dillard High School. This is my junior year of high school. I'm also a part of the band. I do flag at my school, so I'm part of the band, which I enjoy. That's where the music aspect comes in. And yeah.
Okay. Hey, Jacy, we have more in common than what we think. I was in the flag corps in the Marching 100. So
okay.
yeah. So we just want to have a conversation. So I know a lot of times we hear a lot of disturbing news about young people, and we need to hear more positive news and to see more positive young people. So there within lies the need for this show. Juan, how do you find the time to Joshua? I was thinking about Juan, the baseball player. That's what my mind went to. But Joshua, how do you arrange your schedule to find the time to do the things that you do at the level that you're doing on?
Well, it's all about just staying focused. You know, keeping your head on straight. Ask for help if you need it. You know, but
Mhm.
mostly, uh, just staying focused and don't try to get distracted. And if you do, get right back on track.
Mhm. So let me follow up with that, Joshua. How hard is that being a teenager today, being bombarded by all of the, I guess, distractions out there between social media and just being a teenager in a time such as this? I see you keep yourself pretty active. Is that part of how you do that?
Yes. Staying active actually, helps a lot because it boosts your mentality. I would say. But just staying disciplined and following an objective, making sure that you set a goal that you can accomplish, and just staying on track.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We want to bring our viewers into play too. So if you got any questions, put them up in the box and we'll ask them.
Mhm.
I want to ask Brielle this. Brielle, coming from middle school and now in high school, what is one of the hardest things for you to adjust to?
I would say my classes because I'm now in Cambridge, which is like a college level course, and I would say the work has gotten difficult for me, but other than adjusting to high school, I think it's the same because most of my friends from middle school are now in my high school, so yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Mhm.
And I want to follow up with Miss Bales because I mean, being a Panther, that pretty much that says a lot, being here proud. Everybody know about the Panthers. But it seems like you're a natural. So I mean, things seem like it. I mean, just from what I've learned from listening to Bobby and reading some of your articles, things come easy to you. Is there something that you find challenging or complicated and makes you push yourself to go even further?
Um, I would say sometimes the motivation to do stuff is a little hindering because balancing after school activities, homework, um, and band, which takes up a lot of time, and then finding time to write, but not just to write, to actually make an impact or for it to mean something to somebody. So I would say the motivation is sometimes not there because I might be tired or overwhelmed or stressed, but it passes by, so it's not that big of a deal.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So if you had to prioritize your activities, what would you put at the top?
I would put school first and then band second and then writing third because I feel after I finish school, I finish band, I have more time to really focus on what I'm writing about. So it's not just any words put together. It's actually like a real meaning behind it.
Mhm. And I'd like to pose that question to all three of our guests, Brielle and Joshua. Starting with Brielle, how would you prioritize your activities? What do you feel you like most or get engaged in the most?
Um, I would say, yeah, school first too, and then theater, and yeah, any other like sports like swimming, cause yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And Joshua?
Well, obviously, academics come first, because without academics, I really can't be on the team, you know. So that that comes first, and then second would be sports. You know, getting in shape and staying active. That's also good.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna bring up a couple of questions from our viewers. We'll start with Mr. McCormick. Mr. McCormick, William McCormick. Bill is the chairman of the trustee boards at Florida Memorial University. Okay, so he's extremely active, and he'll probably try to get every student he can to attend Florida Memorial. So that's great. Bill's question is, what would each of these impressive youth say about who they look up to? And we'll go with you first, Josh.
Well, me, who I look up to is my parents, because they've struggled, and you know, I try to use that to motivate myself to be a better person and to do good. Also, my teacher, uh, the coordinator, the magnet coordinator of Elma, he is a very big help. Like, he's helped me in so many ways. He's helped me get to my dual enrollment classes. He's helped me with, you know, uh, work, uh, letters, acceptance letters to send off to colleges and things like that. So I'm greatly appreciative of those people in my life.
Okay. Jacy?
I would say I look up to my mom because she's the one who's gonna push me, and she always knows what I need in the end, even if I don't know. So I would say my mom because she's the motivation behind the great stuff that I do.
I wish we could superimpose a picture of your mother and you. And not only do you look up to your mother, you look like your mother. Brielle, same question.
Yes, my mom, because she inspires me to do everything I do now. And yeah, she's very she knows how to express herself in different ways, and I just really aspire to be like her. So
So you mean to tell me that your mom is running around the house like an actress or something? Okay.
So let's go back to our viewers. We have another question from Hester Elaine Samuels. She has a question for each student. She says, for each student, what do you feel is what is most needed at your school for student achievement? And we'll start with Miss Jacy.
I would say probably the good administration, because I feel like they know a lot about the school, and sometimes we don't know as students. So we need those counselors, those administrators, the principals to get informed about events or things that we need to know about, so that we can be on track, so that it's no confusion when it comes to when deadlines are due or when scholarships or stuff like that.
Okay.
What you got?
Same question, Joshua, and then Brielle.
I agree with Jacy. Teachers are a big help, and you do need somebody that you can go to if you're having a problem, if you're having trouble with any work. You know, they're basically the people who are helping you to achieve greatness and to, you know, graduate, you know, make it, and yeah.
Okay.
yes, teachers, because students need teachers that care about them, and who they could really trust that they would teach them. And yeah, I guess just
Okay. So we don't have to play this at the school board meeting, huh?
Absolutely. Let's get Miss McCleary. Okay, Miss McCleary, she asked a question, and this is for each of you. Okay.
She's saying, is what is your recommendation for fellow classmates or friends? Let me see here.
Mhm.
What is your recommendation to your fellow classmate or friends on being successful like you? And we can start anywhere. Go ahead, Joshua. We'll give you a stab at it.
So advice I'd give
Yes, to
is
your fellow classmates and friends.
right. So advice I'd give is just to, stay focused. Try to stay on track. Don't deviate. Don't try to follow anybody. Don't try to, follow somebody that's important. That's actually, making a change. You're doing something big. But like if it's a bad crowd, don't try to associate yourself with them. Just keep your head forward, and just
Mhm.
stay on track.
Okay.
Mhm.
Brielle.
They don't necessarily have to be like me, but they could start their own journey and their own balance.
Mhm. Okay. I like that. In the ninth grade, I wasn't thinking about balance.
No, I wasn't either. Jacy?
It's so important.
Same question, Jacy.
Jacy, same question.
I would say just to be themselves and their authentic selves, not try to do what somebody else is doing just because they think, oh, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Sometimes you have to know what you can do and what you can't do. And I feel like that's how you remain successful.
Well, man, we're getting some good questions coming from our viewers. And
Well,
I
let's
don't.
keep it going.
Okay. Campbell, is that Kamar Campbell? Kamar Campbell she says, I'm not sure male or female, but it says, if you're having a hard time being motivated, what do you do to keep your spirits up? Y'all jump in. Just we're gonna go for it. Joshua?
All right. So what I do is I'd picture the end. I'd picture, what's to come if I stick to what I'm doing or, stay with what I'm doing. So, if my dream or if my passion was to help people, you know, I would think of that and then I'd be like, I have to do this. I have to keep going for the people who care.
Jacy?
I pray because I find that helpful to when I don't know what else to do, go to God. So I pray.
Okay. Miss Brielle?
I do like push myself and tell myself to like keep going, and I also do pray. So, yes.
Okay, great. There was a question up there similar to the question I was going to ask. Where do you see yourselves in 10 years? And JC and Joshua, there's an age difference between you two and Brielle. So your 10 years may be different than Brielle's 10 years, but the same question. Where do you see yourselves in 10 years? JC?
I see myself having graduated from college and hopefully pursuing whatever career that God has planned for me. I don't necessarily know what I want to do, but I do see myself being successful in whatever it is that I do.
You said you want to come to the West Side Gazette and create a new position. Brielle?
I see myself being independent. I see myself going to college and graduating. I do want to major in biology, and I also do see myself doing theater and being on Broadway.
Okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Mhm.
Brother Williams.
Well, I see myself striving and continue to strive for my goals. I see myself helping my family out the best way I can because right now all I want to do is help them. So I hope that I can in any way possible, help the people that help me now. So yeah.
Mhm. Um, we've been bombarded by a lot of political stuff. How important it is for Black history to be taught in school? And Brielle, we'll start with you on this one.
I feel like it's very important. I do feel like students should know where they came from and what it took for us to be here today. And I feel like it should be taught in school.
Okay. Mr. Williams?
So the importance of Black history, you know, there's many Black figures and they've done amazing things. So I feel like they should be recognized, you know, they should be passed on for generations to come. I feel like they shouldn't be held back. They shouldn't be stopped, you know. Uh, all teachers, well, not all teachers, but, you know, some teachers, most teachers should have the right to teach it to their students, you know, get them an insight on what happened. And maybe it can inspire those kids to, you know, seek out, be like you guys, you know, start their own podcasts, start their own articles. And yeah.
I would say it's very important that Black history is taught in schools, especially now because it's trying to be erased from the curriculum and the textbooks. And to us, that's not fair because we're trying to move away from that point where we're limited, but we're being limited again. So that's not fair to us. And it's not fair to the teachers who have to teach the curriculum and have to teach around whatever false system that is trying to make it seem like, oh, this is why this happened when it's not. So it's important for us to know what it is that Black history really is so that we can know for ourselves since it's trying to be taken away.
Mm-hmm. And I'll ask you this, Jacy. What could we, as adults, what could we do to help? What can we do to help young people guide themselves or to just be a part of their lives? What can we do as adults to better relationships?
I would say taking time to dive deeper into Black history for themselves so that they can be able to spread more than just what we usually hear about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. And they're amazing figures, but it's so much more to that, to the culture of Black History Month, where it's not touched on nearly as much as it should. And I take a class at the African American Research Library, and it's a Black history class, and we're taught about the real deal about slavery and that it was a business, and that people that I've never, like, I didn't know personally that there was a Rosa Parks before Rosa Parks, but stuff like that we should know because it's our history. So I feel like as adults, probably just taking time for themselves to not just focus on 1 month, but to take it in if you can every day, or just be more serious about it or read up on it. And if you're local in the community, go to the African American Research Library and read on it. It's there in our community for a reason. So we all have to take advantage of it.
You know, Joshua, you are an athlete and a scholar. That's almost a rarity. What are your plans? If no, I want to say, how do I want to say this? I want to ask you, where are you putting your greatest efforts? Is it on athletics? I don't want this to be a yes and no. How are you shaping yourself for your future? Are you shaping it based upon athletics, or based upon your academic, your scholarly?
So
Prowess?
I would say in the moment, like at school, I'm focused more on academics, right? And then on the field, you know, I'm trying hard and I'm doing as hard as I can in in the sport that I'm in. So that's what I do. I try to split it 50-50 depending on where I'm at.
So to just follow up on that, Joshua, is Boyd Anderson known for their baseball team? So usually those kids that are strictly for the athletics, they're going to go to those teams that get a lot of shine, get a lot of spotlight, and as well as the academics. So would you say that positions you better in sports or in academics?
I feel like it positions me more in sports, but
Okay.
our baseball team last year, we had a rough season, right? But this year we're actually doing good so far, and I'm proud to be a part of the team.
Good, good.
I see we got a question from Ordinary Black Girl. And the Ordinary Black Girl asked the question. She said, Brielle, did you know? Okay, we may want to leave that one alone.
But I do have a question really for all three of our guests. Jacy said something in reference to getting a little deeper in Black history, knowing more than just the common names every year in Black history. And I think we were asking that from a young perspective. As an old perspective, I guess we may feel like we're not asked enough. A lot of people don't ask us enough questions in reference to who were some of the prominent people that really impacted us in Black history, other than the names that are very common. And there's a list, because when we first engaged in our Black studies, these were in predominantly Black schools. So we had real history from the instructors, from our teachers that had lived or went to institutions where these people existed. But I want to pose the question is, what kind of mark would you guys like to make in history? I know it's a stretch. It's almost like you got to think ahead of your accomplishments. But I mean, you guys have so much going for yourselves right now. Any areas that you feel like that are unfounded, that you can start something that will put your name on the map in as a Black professional? And I'll start with you, Joshua.
So who I want to be remembered as, I want to be somebody who was known as a helper, a leader, and somebody who, when people reach out, I can help them. I can be there for somebody if they're going through a hard time. I can be there for anybody really, but I just want to be remembered as a helper. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great answer, Jacy.
I would say I would want to be seen as relatable, because I feel like a lot of times, in areas that I've seen, I can't really relate to a lot of the figures that I see, because it's a fake persona, or it's just for show. So I feel like if I could make an impact, I would want it to be that I'm relatable. Like, I do a lot of the stuff that teenagers do. I go to the movies with my friends. I talk on the phone with my friends. I go to school. I stress about school. I would want to be like vulnerable about that stuff. So it's shown that it's okay to be real about what's going on.
Okay. Brielle?
As someone who does good services to others, and maybe writing or doing like documents or documentaries, just someone who could be maybe a filmmaker or something.
Okay. Great.
There's a question that comes from Monique. Is that Delayan? Okay. Monique asked the question, how do you cope with peer pressure that may attempt to deter you from your goals and your aspirations? Brielle, let's start with you. How do you deal with peer pressure someone's trying to knock you off your game? How do you deal with that?
I would remind myself like what's good and think about what would come out of it if I were to like be peer pressured by someone, and I would try to have a good mindset and be positive.
Jacy?
Well, I surround myself with people who I feel like are level-minded with me, so they know right from wrong, good from bad. So, but if in the case that I didn't have a circle that I can rely on to help me, if they see me like veering off the wrong way to bring me back, I would say I would just think about my personal image, and I know I want to look a certain way, and I don't want to be seen that maybe something is okay with this person, but that's not okay for me because the way I was raised, I wasn't raised to do certain things and act a certain way. So I would say I would just remind myself of where I come from and the family that I've learned lessons from, and then I would put that before I think about what I'm being pressured into.
That's awesome. You know, we're getting a lot of questions from our viewing audience. It's Meredith McCleary. She asked a question also, and she wants to know, what do you guys see the biggest challenge facing the USA now? And Brielle, we'll start with you.
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Okay, think about that one. Joshua?
That's good.
I would say violence in general. The war's going on, and we need to like stop it, because even here in Florida, there's a lot of violence, gang violence, or just violence in general, and we just need to like stay away from that and support each other instead of bring each other down.
Okay. Jacy?
I would say just ethics, knowing that certain things, like we know it's human, we know that that's wrong, and we know when things are right. So I feel like it's just a lack of ethical morality and people not really caring about it anymore.
Great answer. So shame has left. You ready, Bree?
I think that I agree with Jacy on that one.
Okay. You know, this entire conversation allow us to believe that perhaps our world is in good hands. With that being said, how would you like to be remembered? Oh, did we quickly answer that question? Yeah. We got to answer that question. We won't deal with that. I guess for me, I see we got Perry in there. You want to bring Perry in for a question before us? Okay.
Okay. Good evening. I was enjoying this from the background, and thank all of you for joining us. I've really enjoyed your insight, your perspectives. I hadn't had a chance to really see this from the beginning, so forgive me if this question has been asked. But you all see a lot that is happening, a lot that grown-ups are chanting and raising their voices about. If really there was one solution that you could offer adults that you see, what would that be in order for adults to really begin to play a positive role? Joshua, I guess.
So from what I've seen, adults, they have dealt with stuff in the past. So, some of the ways that they act, it's because of their past. But what I would say is try to forget or try to learn from the past and just try to keep pushing, because you have like students and children like us who look up to you. So, try to take all the pettiness and all the hate, all the bad things. Just try to push it to the side and try to help motivate our future generation.
Jacy?
I would say I agree with Joshua, like taking lessons that they've learned from when they were younger and even in their younger adult life, and then apply it to this new generation, but then also understand that this is a new generation. So some things that might have been okay or not okay in that time is now different, like things change. So I guess bringing lessons that they've learned from their experience and then forming it in a way that we can understand in our generation, because we are different. While we're the same, we can be the same, we're also very different because this is a new time.
Great. Brielle?
I also agree with them. I would say to also like try to be a role model to us as a new generation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's it? Miss Dillard.
Mm-hmm.
Terry asked us a question. Josh, Brielle, and Jacy, do you have social media accounts? And how do you utilize your time on these accounts?
So I used to have Instagram, but I later realized that it was just hindering me. So I completely deleted it off my phone, because it was I would say hurting me mentally, and it wasn't a positive. It was just bringing me down. So what's the point of having it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brielle?
My parents don't really allow me to have social media, so can't really say anything.
Jacy?
Well, I have social media, and I utilize my account to really just update my friends on my life, and then also see what my friends are doing or my family is doing. And my account is private though, because I like to keep it, I don't want all the outside mess or whatever it is. So my account is private, but I use it just to update myself with my friends and see what they're doing.
Okay, great.
Wow, seems like we got a very focused group here. And guys, I really applaud you. We're getting at the top of the hour. We do understand it's a school night, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So we're going to, I guess in closing, just ask for each of you to kind of give us a closing remark. And then myself and Mr. Busby and Mr. Henry will close us all the way out. But we'll start with you, Brielle. In closing, anything that you would want our viewing audience to know, or know a little bit more about you or who you are?
I'm a very shy person, so if you get to know me more, I will open up to you, and I'm kind. I look forward to more positive podcasts, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. Joshua?
Again, I would like to thank you all for this opportunity. It was a pleasure. But what I would say is, you know, everybody keep your head up. It's never over, so don't give up. And just stay focused, do what you got to do. That's it.
Awesome. Jacy?
I would say thank you for inviting me to be on here and asking good questions. And then thank you to Brielle and Joshua for hearing. I liked hearing you guys' opinions on the questions too, is opening, because some of the stuff I didn't think of that you guys said. So yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys for joining us tonight, for accepting our invitation. And on that closing remark, I know next week we're going to have a stellar show. We have some political candidates that are going to be with us. Miss Catherine Menace, who's running for Pembroke Pines Commission seat, District 2, and Mr. Stanley Campbell running for U.S. Senate. So tune in next week, guys. And in closing, Mr. Busby, Mr. Henry, anything y'all want to add?
Let's do a Black Business Spotlight before.
Oh, yes.
If we could bring on that place where we had the Valentine's Day dinner, which was outstanding. I can't think of the name of it. Farmers. There we go. Thank you. Here it is. Let us serve and host your next special event. If you haven't had an opportunity to go out and dine, try this place here, Oak Cafe. It's really, really good. And the food comes in large portions. So check them out. All right.
Oak Cafe.
All right. Okay. Perry, you got a closing remark?
No, just again, thank you to our guests for taking time out of your busy schedule. Being a teenager is busy. I know I was busy as a teenager, so but hopefully we can bring them back again soon, and not just as guests, but maybe to help host. I'm always good. I'm always happy to have someone with a different perspective. And Jacy, she came out a little shy, but I think she's got a lot to say. And so does Joshua. And I know Brielle has a lot. She might want to write it down or do it another way. But I really appreciate our young adults who've helped us to learn a little bit more. And so could think of a better way to end Negro History Month than by talking to won't say our future generation, our generation of now, and our parents of tomorrow, and our leaders of tomorrow. So I appreciate that. Thank you, brothers, for holding it down while I was out. So just glad to be back.
Okay. As our topic indicated, young, gifted, and Black is where it's at. I want to say thank you to the parents who allowed us to share with you your children, to this audience, and to our audience for the questions that you posed. And please keep it up. Don't let this be the last night. Biblically speaking, out of the mouths of babes. So here we are. All we need to do is pay attention to the babes. Innocence has no fear, and the truth will come from that. So I want to say thank you to our young people for your insight and for opening up to share with us just a little bit about you. And we certainly appreciate that. To our viewers, again, please come back next week as we delve into some political situations with some, what do you call them? They're running for office.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah. So we're going to have that conversation. Stanley Campbell, a Black man running for U.S. Senate, not Florida State, but the U.S. Senate, to replace Rick Scott. So let's make it happen. Come in and join us. And then Catherine Menace. That Pembroke Pines?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we got some conversations. So please come back with your conversations and let's do this thing. Again, thank you so very much. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Don't buy no Trump sneakers, and don't fall for the hype. If somebody tell you that 28% of black men will vote for Trump, they are telling you a bald-faced lie. Don't believe it. God bless you all and have a great night.
Good night.